Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD, and today we will have a brief room tour of a studio at the Beach Club Villas. We were assigned room 275, which is on the second floor, fairly close to the stairs that lead out to the parking lot. So let's get to the tour. Starting with the front door, you've got your standard Disney door with your evacuation route, but here is the layout of the Villas building. And then this could be an adjoining room. Presumably next door is a 1-bedroom, so you could make a lock-off 2-bedroom, but we did not do that, just 2 people. The entryway actually has a decent amount of space. You can see we've stacked up our luggage here in preparation for checkout. And the floor, I think, is maybe a laminate. I'm not sure, it's wood-ish. I don't know if it's actual wood, but yeah, the entryway and then into the bathroom floor is this wood, and then you have carpet in the living space. Backing up a bit, when you turn left after you enter, you have this really convenient mirror and shelf system. This is a little ledge. It's great to put masks, magic bands, keys, wallet, phone, that kind of thing. And then you do have 3 hooks, perfect for hanging up bags or light jackets, anything like that. And you do have these cute little touches that make it feel a little bit more beach clubby. Moving in from the entryway, to the right you have your kitchenette. So in a deluxe studio you don't get a full kitchen, you do get the kitchenette. You have a small fridge, but it's a lot bigger than a standard dorm size fridge. So that's nice. You can see plenty of shelving space for drinks, cans, small freezer shelf, but I wouldn't trust that with much. And then quite a lot of shelving space. So it's probably almost double the size of your standard tiny dorm room fridge. This is just under the sink, and here's where you have your larger trash can and a recycling can. Every DVC unit has one of these pamphlets that tells you your amenities, but of course a lot of these are not available in the deluxe studio, so be sure to pay attention to that fine print. Not available. So you don't get a lot of the kitchen stuff in the studios, which is fine. And then also here is the charges for housekeeping. Housekeeping at DVC is pretty different than a standard hotel. We've talked about that before on the channel. So you have a small sink, and they give you a small sponge and some dish and hand soap and a dish towel. Here are your coffee supplies. You have all of the sugar you could need. You only get a few things of tea, so if you are a tea drinker, you may want to pack your own. And then we have a pretty standard Mr. Coffee with some to-go cups and lids, which is nice. On the shelf above that, you have your paper towels. The quality of these is pretty bad. It's 1-ply, so don't expect nice paper towels, but you can go through a lot of them if you need to. Your ice bucket, some cups, and then a microwave, of course. Up here are the few things you do get with the studio. So you get disposables, basically. So you have disposable bowls, disposable plates, and then this will be disposable utensils. And you do also get a can opener. I'm not entirely sure what these things are. Adam does most of the cooking in our relationship. On the other cabinet, then you have some more paper towels as well as a toaster, and then the upper shelves are just shelf space for storage. And again, you get tiny little beach club touches with these really cute Sea Star door handles. Turning around, so left from entering the space is your bathroom. There's this huge mirror. It's really beautiful. And then you have one sink with a decent amount of counter space. We were given bar soap as well as a tube of body lotion. There is a makeup mirror, which you can pull out decently far. You've got 2 swivels here. And then it has, I believe, regular and 5X mag. And also it does light up, which is nice. Over here is going to be your closet. It's a decently large closet. So here you can store some luggage. Got your wall safe, fire extinguisher, ironing board, vacuum. The iron is hiding on the wall behind the hangers. And then more hangers than average. I think there are only 4 with the clips, but there were 7 or 8 additional regular hangers. And then the shelf above, you have your extra pillows and blankets if needed. To the left of this area, this door is your actual bathroom. So here you have a toilet and then a shower tub combo. We were given 6 full towels. This room does sleep 5. There's only 2 registered guests in the room, me and Adam, and we were only here for 1 night, so I think 6 towels is probably standard. You do get a little beachy artwork here. And then the shower tub situation itself is really nice. Water pressure was good, temperature was awesome. We have a clothesline, we hung up our swimsuits. And interestingly, it did come with the singles, so they didn't have the wall-mounted pumps. So we got a single liquid body wash, single conditioner, single shampoo, and then another bar soap. So that's the bathroom. Moving into the living space. I believe this is a queen-sized bed. And then to the left of the bed, so the wall behind the closet, you have another large mirror. This is opposite your balcony door, so it is really helpful for bouncing some light back in. Both of these lights are controlled with this light switch. Both have to be on at the same time. You can't do one or the other. And then you have your bedside table. It's a little guy, but it's functional. You do have 2 USB plugs here, and then 2 medium small drawers. You can't fit a ton in there, but that's definitely something. Of note, there is only this 1 bedside table. Whoever sleeps on this side doesn't get it. And there aren't outlets right back there. The closest outlets for this person are going to be down on this corner. So that is your overall bed area. You have the fun wavy headboard, another little touch of beach club vibes. It was a very comfortable bed. I will say that these pillows are pretty thick, even when you are compressing them laying down. So if you like a thinner pillow, this may not be the most comfortable for you, but we had a good night's sleep. Over here is where you'd set your temperature. And then this is the TV area, sitting table. These are functional drawers. They are very thin though, but fairly deep. You could store a decent amount in there, and there are 4 of these total. Super cute lamp, 1 on each side. These you can control independently, so this one's on, this one's off. This is a really great little working area. Adam did some work on his laptop this morning. I painted my nails. You have outlets up here, which is very convenient. So just 4 total, 2 actual plugs and 2 USBs, but it's still really nice to have right at this table area. And a really large TV. We've been watching The Owl House, which I highly recommend. This whole area, this is your single pull-down bed. So I will see if I can insert some footage of that process in just a minute. You will have to move the chairs though. And then more to the left, you have your living space. There's a good amount of space here to store your luggage or the chairs or this table if needed. This is going to be your pull-out couch. Got some, again, some beachy touches in the artwork here. You can see the owl house in the reflection. You know, art. Then you've got a tall floor lamp over here. I will also say there is overhead lighting in here, which is awesome. You definitely don't always get that in hotels, so it's nice to have that amount of light. This coffee table, one, came with this really fun One Day at Disney book, fabulous to flip through, but two is super functional. It has this drawer. I know the refurb has left the rooms feeling not super beach clubby to many people. You just get the little touches, but they really thought about functionality, which is great. If you did use the pull out as a place to sleep, you would have to move this table. Again, I think probably in this corner is your best bet. And then we have our balcony. So as per usual, you have these thicker light blocking curtains and then decorative curtains to go on top. I will say that in this room, room 275, the sun does peek through a little bit on the curtains, and it did wake us up. So if you have clothespins, I may clothespin these shut. This is our balcony and the view, nothing remarkable. It's a pretty standard sized balcony, I would say. Not huge, not tiny. Now we are out on the balcony, so it's a sliding glass door. There isn't a screen door, so you can't just hang out with your sliding glass door open and not have bugs come in. This really is an in or out situation. And so perhaps you can get a better feel of the size of this balcony for room 275 here. I'm standing in the far corner. You can see we've got 2 chairs and a table, and then a little bit of space on either side. I can comfortably walk maybe 7 or 8 steps, depending on how long my strides are. That's about how big it is. And then in terms of the view, we have this small road. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I haven't noticed a noise from it in the room, so certainly not a big deal. Didn't disturb our stay at all. A little bit of water, got the foliage, some very well grown in trees. And then we have this walking path, and you can see the parking lot. So that's how close we are. This is the balcony for room 275. So that is a brief tour of the studio at the Beach Club Villas. Again, this is room 275. We are pretty close to the parking lot, so a little bit of a ways away from the main amenities, but that's okay. The room itself was definitely comfortable, suited our needs very well. It is a little bit bland, perhaps. I wouldn't say sterile by any means. It does feel warm and cozy, but there are really only little touches that remind you that you are at the beach club and not, you know, any other hotel really. But it's a wonderful room. I hope this room tour was helpful. If you do have any questions, be sure to leave those in the comments down below, and I will do my best to get you a useful answer. Thanks so much to everyone who did leave a like on the video, and if you aren't already, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. You can ring the bell icon to receive notifications whenever I post new videos. And if you want to chat about anything Beach Club Villas or really Disney, you can find me outside of YouTube over on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is @PixieDustPhD. I hope you have a magical rest of your day, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.